Hello and welcome to By the Way with Beth and Stacey. I am Beth Cooper.
I am Stacey Earlywine, and we're going to have another great show for you today. Something that I'm interested in learning about.
Yeah.
I feel like you're going to take, as people can see on the table, there's fabric and things. And so I don't know anything about fabric, and Beth is the queen of fabrics. So our show today is going to be about Feedsacks.
Feedsack fabrics from the past.
Yeah, and we'll jump into that a little bit. But yeah, I did not even begin to understand what the Feedsack
It was a big deal.
was. Yeah, it really was. Yeah, so it's kind of neat. But so what's on the agenda today?
Well, you know what? My kids are back in school and life is good. And
Isn't that what every parent says?
Yeah, it's going really well. We're having a really good school year, and I don't know. I'm just happy that September's here.
Yeah.
I've got my front porch decorated for fall. I've got my mums out.
I'm going to go get some today, I believe.
Oh my gosh, Farmers Market has the most beautiful mums.
Oh, that's where I'm headed. Well, today after we get done this morning, I'm going to head to Vandalia, and I'm going to look at I'm going to go look at a camper.
Oh,
so I'm going to do that. So I'm going to make my way to Vandalia. I got Jim's truck because I had to do something for him today. So,
okay.
And so I got Jim's truck, and then I'm going to fiddle around, see about the new camper that I don't know, and then I'm going to head to the farm. Those ginormous ones. I love those. But I need small ones too because
I know. Well, I bought a little bit of both because I like to stack my mums up my stairs.
Me too.
So some of them are bigger, and I think they're like $28.50, but they are those great big round, like almost like an urn type looking.
They're huge,
and they have 3 different colors of mums in them. So when I've bought from them the last couple of years, and when they bloom, it's like candy corn. It's like you've got white, you've got yellow, you've got orange, all in the same pot, and they are gorgeous.
I get excited about fall as much as I love summer. Now I'm excited about. I love September and October. I really love October. And I'm looking forward to our By the Way shows in October because you guys are gonna have to tune in for that because we got a whole
there's gonna be costumes.
And not maybe just one time. Who knows?
We might do the whole month.
We might do the whole month.
Yes.
I don't know what we're gonna do, but September's my birthday month.
Oh yay!
Yes.
Yeah, we'll have to celebrate that.
Yeah. It's on September 21st.
Okay.
Which I thought. I don't know. I keep thinking. I don't know why that's not a national holiday.
I don't know either.
I'm
not
think
sure.
it would
It
at
ought
least
to be. I mean, everyone ought to recognize your birthday, right?
Well, that's kind of what I'm thinking. I share my birthday with Promise McGrew Gilkison. Promise and I were both born, but I was 18 when Promise was born. So, yeah, Promise and I are kindred birthday spirits. But, so I like September. I get excited about the fall.
Our wedding anniversary is in September.
It is? Okay, what day did you get married?
September the 18th.
Yeah, how many years?
1999. So we've been
99.
married 24 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How fun,
good times.
Yep. And I'm not going to be 60, so that's good.
Yeah.
56.
Oh, gosh, Stace. You old woman.
I know.
You old hag.
Okay, think about that for just a second, though, because, seriously, it's like, okay, so, when you're doing, filling something out and they need your birth date, so you flip September 21st, and you're like,
I know. You keep scrolling and scrolling and scrolling.
Oh, there's 67.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, because I'm like...
I'm not even as old as you, but I feel the same way when I have to scroll through something online to find my birthday. Oh, my gosh.
Not a fan.
Yeah, no, me
Not
either.
a fan. But I love life, and I love my birthday. I love,
Some people don't like their birthdays, and they don't want to talk about it, and they don't want to celebrate it, and they are just like, oh, it's just another day. Like, they don't want to talk about it because they feel like they're getting old, and it makes me so mad. Yeah. Because as a cancer survivor, I am all about living every day.
Absolutely.
And being happy that you're here. And I always say to somebody that's mad about their birthday, well, it beats the alternative.
Yeah.
And I really just want to be like, shush, don't be a complainer. Be happy you're alive. There's a lot of people buried that would take your place.
Well, I got a story on that. I'll never forget when I was turning 30 years old and I was in my shop and Dorothea Pringle was in there visiting with me. She's an older lady who passed away just recently, a few months ago or whatever. And she was older, and Dorothea Pringle was one of the most amazing women I've ever known in my life.
Oh, really?
Absolutely, the best older lady I've ever, just on fire for God, but super cool, just awesome. And I'm like, oh, Dorothy, I can't believe I'm going to be 30. I'm going to be 30. I can't believe I'm going to be 30. And she looked me dead in the face and she said, Stacey, God doesn't have to give you another birthday. And I went, ooh, ouch, bird. Yeah, talk about stepping on my toes.
Right.
And ever since Dorothea Pringle said that to me, I have always thought that. So I love my birthday. And my good friend Christina died way, way, way too young. And my friend Christina Binky Sturm, she would have loved, and she loved her birthday. She was born in January. And actually, Christina shares a birthday with my granddaughter, Joanna. Yeah, so January, and with my father-in-law, the January 18th. So my friend Chris, so if just think about those people who have passed young that would love to have another birthday.
Oh, right.
So celebrate your birthday.
Absolutely.
Eat the cake.
And I always celebrate I tell everybody, it's my birthday today.
I do.
Oh, hey, did you know tomorrow's my birthday? And I'm not telling people that because I expect a gift or anything. Heavens no, I don't want to, I mean, I really don't. I don't need anything. But I just am happy. I'm just always happy to celebrate another birthday, true joy. I'm here. I'm having a birthday.
I'm a believer in the birthday month. Yeah, I start telling people about my birthday, I don't know, mid-August.
Yeah. No shame in your game.
No shame in my game.
Celebrate those birthdays.
Love the birthdays. My hair's bugging me today. I don't know.
Yeah, well, it looks nice.
I'm having a hot flash.
Uh-oh.
I'm having a hot flash.
Might have to get a fan on our set for Stacey.
During a commercial break, I may come back and my hair may be up in a ponytail.
Oh, well.
It may happen.
That may happen to me, too.
Okay,
you got an ad for us today?
I do, and it's very different, okay? Okay, it's kind of crazy.
Okay.
Apparently, the date is cut off on this.
1931.
Where's this? There it is.
Earlier
up there, 1931. So apparently, in 1931, we must have had a vaudeville traveling company come to Florida. Okay, throw this up there, Ty, please. Look at this. See the laugh sensation, Henry's wedding, the thrills of a bachelor bridegroom. Come, laugh. These 125 prominent local people can't put on a poor show. So literally had all these people in the cast. That's the entire cast.
Cool. It's kind of like a depot show of 1931. Were they raising funds for anything in particular?
Well, it don't say anything. Library Hall, Flora, Illinois, Thursday, Friday, September 8th and 9th, 1931. Show starts at 8 p.m. Admission is 35 cents, all seats reserved. Tickets reserved at Prince's Drugstore Wednesday and Thursday, September 7th and 8th. Special children's matinee at 4 o'clock. Admission for children was 10 cents. But look, it's crazy. So let's just, it says they're good. They've got to be good. Cast of characters. I mean, you got all these people, but I don't recognize. Yeah, all these people right under the cast of characters to your left. After come, they're good.
They're good. They've got to be good.
They've got to be good. And then, so you got the
That's a really big cast.
It's huge. And then underneath that, the colored brethren and sister of the Mystic Shrine. Special music numbers. So they had a chorus. Smile, darn you smile. Down the river of golden dreams. Yours and mine. King's 99 out of 100. Happy days are here again. That one. Hallelujah. That's really the only one I knew was the Happy Days Are Here Again.
Did you see that headline above at the very, very top? It says, consider your funny bone.
Yeah. Well, it fell off it must have ripped off. And then you have the Beaux and Belles of the gay 90s. So then look at all those people.
Wow.
And some of that's the bicycle traffic cop, Daisy Bell.
Man, I wish we had the script. We could recreate it. Ooh, that'd be fun.
Miss Bloomer. Henpecked husband. Oh, it wasn't played by Jim Earlywine. Oh, shoot. He'll get that part if we redo it.
So this was at Library Hall, which I think was probably in the upstairs of the old library. Do you think that?
It has to be. And then down at your bottom right, it's a whole entire thing, of course. But I don't hardly recognize any. I mean, it had to have been a traveling.
Yeah, some of these had to be traveling people, I think. But
yeah, and then I would imagine
some of them they probably pulled in local.
Yeah.
Admission was 35 cents.
Yeah, and 10 cents for children. I don't know. I came across that and thought that was the neatest.
Yeah. So this weekend, when all of you guys are at the Shadows of Elmwood Cemetery tour,
yeah, exactly,
in Flora on September the 8th and 9th, the same exact days as that was in 1931. Just think, back almost 100 years ago, people were also watching performance that evening.
Yeah,
but at the old library.
Yeah, literally.
Like a minstrel show.
Yeah, almost 100 years ago. And now this weekend, like Beth said, Shadows. Come out to that. Beth, before we go to explain that to a little bit to people, so they don't get confused. Knows. They don't get confused.
So
by it.
Shadows of Elmwood is also called the cemetery tour. That's just kind of what we refer to it a lot in conversation. But it is in Flora on September the 8th and 9th. Tickets go on sale. It starts at 5. I think tickets usually go on sale a little bit earlier than that. But basically, you meet at the historic B&O Depot in Flora and park nearby. You get in line there. You buy your ticket, and then you get onto the back of a trailer that has straw bales on it. Now, if you are handicapped in some way and you can't get on and off of the trailer, there are golf carts available that you can ride through on a golf cart for those people that are older or have difficulty getting on and off of a trailer. But for the rest of everyone, younger people, they climb into the back of these trailers.
And by climbing, they have stairs. So don't think
it's not like you have to hoist yourself up.
Yeah, because
there are steps to get on, and there's also someone there to hold your hand and keep your balance as you climb on. Once you're on, you're very secure. You can't fall off. The truck pulls the trailer very slowly down Blue Mound, just a very short distance to our big Elmwood Cemetery. As you're waiting in line at the depot, though, there's usually a couple of performances there that you can watch. And what these performances are is like in first person, it's like a portrayal of someone that lived in our area, in a real person in history. These are not, it's not haunted. It's not a scary tour. It's nothing creepy. It is history come alive. It's historical portrayals. And then as you get to the cemetery, you stop at about 10 different grave sites, and there's a group of people there dressed in period clothing to whatever time period they're portraying. They act as if they are the person. They don't act like, I'm just going to tell you a story about Bob. It's like, I am Bob.
I am Bob.
And this is what I did in my life. And then they tell you this really cool story of something that happened right here in Clay County, because there's like over 8,000 people buried in Elmwood Cemetery.
We have a lot of history there.
Every single person has a story to tell, really, if you think about it.
Yeah, your history's in your cemetery.
Oh, yeah. But we've picked,
it's awesome.
Every year, the writers pick a really great stories to portray, and it's fascinating. Because you think back, this happened right here.
Yeah.
Anyway, so you go through the cemetery, and then you end up back at the depot where you get off the trailer and walk back to your car.
Yeah.
So,
yes, it's great. Yeah, and it's a Rotary fundraiser. So is it Rotary?
Yes, money all goes to the Rotary.
And Rotary does tremendous things for our community.
Yeah, they do.
So you're not only going to come and get entertained, learn history, have a great evening. You're also going to benefit your community financially because the proceeds will go to Rotary, and they do wonderful things.
I think the tickets are $10 each.
Yeah,
so
it's
that's
great.
This coming weekend, September the 8th and 9th. But we need to take
a break.
We'll be back.
At your locally owned Napa Auto Parts stores in Flora and Louisville, you can count on experts to have the solutions to keep you running on the road or in the field. More than just your car, the Napa Auto Parts stores in Flora and Louisville carry a large inventory of Napa products for farms, heavy trucks, and just about everything that moves. Experienced associates understand your needs and are ready to help with the perfect part at a great value. That's Napa Know-How at your locally owned Napa Auto Parts stores in Flora and Louisville. Briscoe Surplus Sales on the northeast edge of Flora is your one-stop do-it-all shop. Looking for rugged boots and footwear from great brands like Lacrosse, Rocky, and Carolina? They're there. How about top-notch small engine parts and service? Briscoe Surplus Sales has it. Whether you're wiring your switches or switching your wiring, Briscoe Surplus Sales has the solution and the know-how to help you get the job done right the first time. Briscoe Surplus Sales, your one-stop do-it-all shop.
We like technology at Flora Savings Bank. Here's what you can accomplish in our mobile banking app in less than 30 seconds. See account balances in your transactions, set up an account alert, make a transfer between accounts, get an alert text message about your transfer, pay a bill, turn your debit card off and then back on. It all happens in the palm of your hand with our free My Bank to Go app. Search My Bank to Go in the App Store or Google Play and give mobile banking a try. Flora Savings Bank, member FDIC and equal housing lender.
Lumber. Doors, paint, windows, electrical, plumbing, and much more. Oh yeah, give me all your guns too.
John Lucas.
What?
You better be dreaming about all the stuff we sell here at Zink Building Center.
Oh, I would. Zink Building Center in Louisville on Route 45. It's a cool place.
Welcome back to By the Way with Beth and Stacey. I'm Beth Cooper.
I am Stacey Earlywine, and I just had a hair change.
Yeah, got your hair pulled up, your hot flashes under control.
Oh, boy, yeah. Right now it is.
Okay.
So I'm happy. Let's talk about Feedsack.
Let's talk about Feedsack.
Let's ignore my hot flashes.
Okay, so today's topic is Feedsacks. And Feedsacks basically were the way that they stored flour, sugar, all kinds of things.
All kinds of fun stuff, yeah.
You know, pig feed, everything came in these cotton sacks. And that is what people use to make their clothing.
I know, it's kind of fun.
So,
well, before you go into this,
okay,
and so like Beth is just throw out some of these, so, because here's what I'm thinking. So we'll talk about all this, but this is how I had no idea. I come in this morning and she's got this. I'm like, why are you bringing all this fabric? Well, they're feed sacks. My interpretation as a feed sack was those big Muslim. You know, they like at Halloween time, you're going to use to make a scarecrow.
Like a burlap.
Yes.
You're thinking of burlap bags.
And that's after reading about this, I realized it was a whole marketing scheme.
Yes.
They were geniuses.
Yes. So can you, first of all, if you're imagining burlap, can you imagine walking around in a burlap bag?
Well, that's what I was thinking. They would have to be awful itchy.
Yeah, like biblical times, like they had stuff like that. It was like horrible.
That's what I thought it was.
No.
So I'm excited about this episode.
Okay.
Yeah,
Well, let me tell you a little bit about how this really came about.
Yes, please do.
Okay. So prior to 1840, wheat, flour, grains, seeds, all of that was packaged in barrels.
Barrels. Yep.
Barrels. That's, it came through the train. They had these big barrels of everything. Well, they realized that, that really wasn't maybe the best way to store some of that. And around 1890, cloth sacks or bags replaced the barrels.
Now, would that be the Muslim stuff that I think that I'm talking about?
Some of it could have been muslin, and some things were used in the coarser fabric. Some things were stored in that. But
this is my favorite. I need you to make me a pillow out of this.
So the thing about the cloth bags is, like, if you had one, you could bring it to the mill and you could just have him refill it. Like, you could go to the mill and be like, this is my flour bag, and he could just refill it. But so basically it did turn it kind of into a marketing thing, because it didn't take women long to realize, hey, I can use that bag.
Well, it did. So Feedsack did any of this? It had to have had something to do with the Depression, because during the Depression, nobody threw anything out. Correct.
Right.
So,
these printed feed sacks for sewing began before the Great Depression, actually, and that lasted until well after World War II, basically into the 1960s even.
Okay.
And in the 1940s, it was kind of your patriotic duty, because everyone was conserving resources. And so it actually, a lot of people think it started at the Depression. It was actually before the Depression that people started using this, because the barrels had been replaced, and everyone, the wives were like, hey, I can use that. So hold up that bag there. This is actually a feed sack that's still intact. This is a sugar bag.
Wait. Here.
See if Ty can get it in there. Okay. C&H sugar. Berry granulated. I don't know what the berry means. Pure cane, berry granulated. Okay.
Well, if you're carrying sugar in this, it has to be really tightly woven, tightly fabric. Otherwise, your sugar's falling through, right?
And most of the time, it was a good cotton. Now, if you were here and able to feel this bag, this one is it's soft. Okay, so these white ones, the ones that weren't even dyed with color yet, a lot of times they would be used for things like underwear, petticoats, like different undergarments that touched the body that they could use in dresses. You can put it down now.
Okay.
But so that and also like the print on there where it said the sugar. A lot of times those were made with like indelible ink, kind of. So when it was washed, the ink would fade away.
Right.
Because they wanted it to be clear, just white.
Yeah. I have a funny story.
Okay.
So you said something about, so most of the times, like your material would come and it would have like the manufacturer on it. And then they would, to use it for clothing stuff, what you just said, wash it or do something to get the manufacturer's label off on it. So I've got this funny story.
Okay.
And it happened, there was a gentleman in Clay City named Bill Holman who ran a flour mill. So they really, if you were going to make clothing out of it, they took the manufacturer's tag off of it. But if it was just to make underwear, nobody cared about the tag. So the manufacturer would be on there. So Bill Holman ran a flour mill in Clay City in the 1920 through 30 period. And his flour brand was called Bill's Best. You could probably guess the rest. A young lady got caught in a strong wind and her dress lifted up to show Bill's Best across her backside.
Oh, that's funny. Oh, poor girl.
I thought that was the funniest story.
Oh, man.
Because they took the time to do it, but then, like, not on undies.
Yeah.
Because why would you?
Well, right. Nobody probably cared.
Yeah.
It's
that's
crazy. A good story. I didn't know that.
I just found that. I found that story. It was like Bill's Best, right on your rear,
right there on your rear end. Yeah,
I thought it was funny.
So anyway, all of these manufacturers, people that were the mill owners and stuff that were packaging the sugar, the flour, the hog feed, all of these things, they realized that hey. The women are telling their husbands which bags to buy because they wanted to buy the prettier ones. So if a different company had for like red bags versus yellow, they would say, I only want you to buy the flour that comes in the red bag. And at the beginning, the feed sacks were only in solid colors. They were like just the plain white, but they also had some that were dyed yellow, solid red, blue, different. And so the wives began kind of deciding basically what goods they were buying based on what the bag was. Because
an incredible marketing scheme.
That way they could make their children's clothes out of it.
So let's talk about, so we're talking sugar, flour,
anything basically.
Food, dog
food,
cat food.
Like any good. Coffee, the shot for like filling up shotgun shells and stuff, shot bags, everything like that was in a cloth bag.
My assumption is because did it just become really difficult for the barrels?
Yeah, I mean, it was difficult for the barrels.
Because you'd have to make the barrel, would be an expense.
Right. But, okay, so this is another point I was going to make. The reason that everything went to the bags mainly was because the government had to standardize the measurements of the products. So before you might go buy a product and you might say you want 10 pounds of flour, but were you really getting 10 pounds of flour or were you getting 12 pounds? I mean, it might work in your favor. It was just, there was no standardized of anything. So everything was just all different sizes.
So like if you measured the heavy barrel,
Yeah,
you would get.
And I don't know that anyone would buy a whole barrel of fabric. Of flour, but you would just, have to fill up your container or whatever. I don't know how that worked exactly, but it said that it was necessary for the government to standardize the measures of products to be sold so that like amounts could be compared in pricing. When this occurred, it naturally controlled the size of the bags needed to sell the standard measure. So around 1943, the government standardized 6 sizes ranging from 2-pound bags to 100-pound bags.
Wow.
And it might have been the War Production Board who standardized the sizes of cloth bags 2, 5, 10, 25, 50, and 100 pounds. But, okay, so prior to that, there were bags, but basically they were kind of different sizes on the shelf. So you didn't really know, exactly how much you were getting, because some flour bags might be this big and some might be this big. So the government kind of came in and standardized the bags. But anyway, so there were only solid colors at the beginning, and I don't have a solid one here other than the I have a couple of white ones.
These are all print.
Yeah, here's one that was. Let's see what this one is. It's kind of stained. Hold that one up. Master Mix broiler mash. Broiler mash. So this is a chicken feed sack. This was for your broiler chickens, your meat chickens. This would have had their mash in it.
So and actually it's still in its.
It's still an actual bag. So this one that I have here is probably worth the most out of all of the ones I have.
This one right here is?
Yeah, because it's a 100-pound bag of chicken mash, and there are collectors out there that specifically only collect chicken mash feed sacks. Okay, so these feed sacks are highly collectible. People want them for various reasons. So a lot of quilters want them to make quilts out of. We'll get to the quilting in a little bit, but also some people just collect them. I don't know. I'll have to look it up.
What if it'll slip in my purse?
No, it won't. It will not.
Well, it's my birthday month.
I can give it to you for your birthday. People will be like, what did you get Stacey for her birthday? I gave her a 100-pound chicken mash feed sack. They'd be like, oh, that's kind of weird. She wanted it. I wanted
it.
All right. So let's see.
I don't have one.
So anyway, these manufacturers realized that women were buying for the packaging, and they turned it into a really great marketing feature. They started to make prints of feed sacks. Yeah, they're beautiful. Yeah. And they made all these prints, and basically when you went to the store and you're shopping for flour, one company might have 20 different prints. It wasn't like each company just did, they went above and beyond, and they had multiple prints per type of flour or sugar or whatever. And so the wives a lot of times would go with their husbands to the store to decide which bag they wanted, and they would, I'm sure it was probably super annoying to the clerk when the woman came in and was like, I want the blue one, and the blue one's got 500 pounds of sugar on top of
that would be a nightmare.
The bottom of the pile. Yep.
Well, because I always felt that would. Okay, let's put this in perspective. Well, let's take a commercial break, and then I'm going to put this in perspective for you.
If you're looking for a loan for your brand new home, call Clay County State Bank. If you want to transfer money so your future will look sunny, call Clay County State Bank.
We got checking and savings and bill pay too.
An online banking, just ask our crew. For all your banking needs, we think you will agree.
Clay County State Bank is the place you need to be.
Clay County State Bank.
At Clay City Banking Company, we're all on the same team, regardless of zip code. At home, work, school, or across the country, you can be part of our team with our cutting-edge mobile banking products. From your hand, you can check balances, transfer money, make deposits, and pay bills. Looking for a loan? We've got you covered with our mortgage, agriculture, commercial, and consumer loans. Join our team today. Clay City, Flora, Louisville, and Fairfield Banking Companies. We're the hometown banks, member FDIC, and equal housing lender.
It's the weekend and your symptoms are worsening. The morning of a big meeting and you have a bigger sore throat. Ever experienced that urgency after picking up your sick child and your community health center has already closed? You will be able to connect to a provider at crhpc.org. Even if you have never been to CRHPC, you are welcome to utilize our services. Feel better after scheduling a video visit with CRHPC.
Tomorrow. Some fear the uncertainty it brings. Some trust the promise it holds. At Grinnell Mutual, we are always looking forward to tomorrow, growing and innovating. So even if the plans you have for the future aren't the same as the plans that the future holds for you, you can be ready. Because we'll be ready, like we have been for over 100 years. Trust in that. Trust in tomorrow. Talk to your mutual agent today.
Your local agent is on the square. Louisville, Clay County Farmers Mutual Insurance.
Okay, welcome back to By the Way with Beth and Stacey. We are here talking about feed sacks.
Yes.
From the past.
From the past, and which is super cool.
And in my handy dandy book here about vintage feed sacks from the farm that I've had for a little while, this book, I looked up how much that feed sack is worth. The one that we held up a minute ago about the mash.
Yeah.
$40 to $45 is how much that's worth.
Sweet.
So that would be a nice birthday present.
So I'm going to put this in perspective.
What would you ever do with it?
So we're talking. So let's just picture this.
Okay.
Your wife is going to buy flour.
Yes.
Who would know? Who knew it would take like 2 hours to pick out flour? Okay, because you're picking out the flours in these bags. So you go to the store and they're probably a bit heavy. Flour's not.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, they had them in different sizes.
Yeah.
But
Or if you're picking out cat food or dog food or whatever.
Sure.
So let's just say, picture it like you're going to Ace Hardware and you're buying mulch. And the mulch is just packed on top because this product you're buying is pretty dense and going to be really heavy.
Yep.
And so like I always feel bad when I go buy mulch because it's so heavy.
Oh yeah.
So picture that, but yet it's this beautiful display of all these things stacked on top of each other. And your wife goes, I want the bottom one. So some poor guy that they had to have taken their husband with them.
Oh yeah.
Because it's like,
but
honey,
I don't know. I feel like it would be the job of the clerk or the.
I don't know.
I don't know.
But yeah, so can you imagine like picking up? Let's just say they've got it stacked 50 bags high, and you want the bottom fabric. Now I'm going to be like,
that would be me. I'm difficult.
I was just getting ready to say. So Beth and Stacey, okay, I'd be like, oh, I love that one, but you know what? Don't worry about it. It's okay. I like that one on top too. We'll get that. Beth would be like, I want that bottom one, and I want that now.
And can we search through the whole palette to see if there's any others that match it?
Exactly.
Because some projects needed more than one bag.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So if you were going to make a child's dress, you could get by with one feed sack. Especially if it was a
because they're not
big
very
one.
Yeah.
Of course, if you were buying just 10-pound bags of something, you would
gonna
need
need
a
a
lot.
bunch.
But let's just say that you were just going to use a full-size, like 100-pound bag of something. You would need one of those to make a child's dress, and you would need probably 3 to make an adult woman's dress.
Well,
so,
and 3 for women back in the day.
Oh, right.
I might need about 6 of those pieces.
I would need more than 3 too, I'm afraid. So the women use these to make everything.
Wait.
What?
Like I don't sew, right? So when you're buying yards, it's like feed sacks, and it'll be like, I'm gonna need 10 100-pound bags. I'm making myself a dress.
Oh gosh! And you think about some of their dresses were simple, but some of them were big. Like they had a fancy dress. I bet they had to. But they probably didn't use the fancy dresses.
I'm thinking the woman. I'm thinking did the Ingalls children were their Sunday? You remember the blue dresses the Ingalls girls were? I wonder if they were made out of feed sack.
I don't think so because I went over the dates and I don't think that was.
That's too early.
I think that was too early.
Okay, just checking.
Because well,
I'm going to make myself a dress today, honey. I need 100 bags of flour.
I'm sure they did at some point. Now, 1890 is when the cloth sacks begin to be replaced.
Well,
so, probably later in Laura Ingalls' life. Yeah, definitely.
Right.
Rose Wilder, her daughter, she probably
did.
Yeah. So I have a picture here of, if we can zoom in on this little gal.
Oh, me?
No.
Hello.
Yeah, no, not you. Ty, can you get her? This little gal here. How cute is she?
Oh, I love that.
Look at her in her little dress there made of
Well, let's just talk
Feedsack.
about how great Ty is zooming in on this photo.
I know, right?
Yes.
There she is.
Oh,
this is in Nebraska in 1938. It was taken by a traveling photographer that went through. And yeah, this is Morganza, Louisiana. And I don't know the girl's name, but this was from flour sacks that her dress was made. How cute is that?
That's adorable.
I'm thinking that if it was in color, it would be like red.
I think it's blue.
Blue.
I think it's blue and white.
Yeah.
Blue with white. I'm going to say it's blue with white daisies.
I love her short hair.
Yeah, she's cute.
Yeah, super cute girl. I'd say she's probably about, what, 12?
I was thinking 12 or 13.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Thank
She
you,
looks
Ty.
like she means business, too.
Yeah, she's serious. She's probably just got off work.
Yeah.
Picking cotton. I mean, those kids worked hard down there. Everywhere,
everywhere.
really. But yeah,
Oh,
I
yeah,
wouldn't want to be a
kids-
cotton picker.
Yeah, kids today would lose their mind.
They would. They have no idea. But okay, so these feed sacks were made for clothing, aprons, pajamas, underwear, pillowcases, quilt blocks, and more. So
I've got like curtains, laundry bags, sheets.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. What's this quilt you've got here? Is this a hodgepodge? Because I'm
quit
excited.
rushing me. I'm gonna get
I'm
to that.
excited about
right now.
that
I'm talking
one.
about pillowcases. Okay,
Okay.
let's look at this book for a minute here. So eventually, the manufacturers even started doing fancier prints like this that looked like a pillowcase. So they had like a border edge. So depending on how you cut it, you could cut it and have these pretty pillowcases.
Oh,
but
that's
these
neat.
are actually feed sacks made to look like pillowcases.
Wow.
So it was a great, great marketing scheme for all of the manufacturers. Thank you, Ty. Because they knew if they had the prettiest bag or the best, style, like
Right.
a pillowcase or whatever, it would sell. And it really didn't have much to do with the product.
Oh, it had nothing. You
They
could
could
have the nastiest
they could have
flower
a-
in town, but if
they-
it's in the
yeah,
prettiest bag.
They could have a lower quality product, but a nicer packaging. Can you think of anyone today any marketing scheme that's like that works today? I don't think so.
I don't think so.
I don't think.
No, the only thing that came to mind.
You might not want to say it.
Well, the only thing I came to is like you low quality and a pretty package. It's like, well, is that how some men pick their women?
Oh, yeah.
Not very good on the inside, but pretty on the outside.
Yeah.
But it should.
Yes.
Why did my mind go there?
I don't know.
That's weird.
I don't know. But
Pretty package?
Some pretty packages are just
Not real pretty.
yeah.
But it is. It's a wonderful marketing tool.
Yes. So that's how they came to be. And nowadays they are very much a collector's item.
Yeah.
For certain people. There's other people that look right past them, don't even know what they are. And
I am gonna
that's
ask you
okay
another
because
question.
that makes it easier for me to get a hold of them.
Being the fabric person that you are, how would somebody who doesn't know what's a feed, how would you determine that this is feed sack material, but just a regular piece of fabric is not?
Okay. There's a couple of clues.
Okay.
One of them
Ooh, that yellow one's pretty.
is texture and is a little clue. But the thing is nowadays there's like reproductions of some of this fabric. So you might find, something in a quilt shop or something that is a reproduction, but there's always one serious clue. I'm trying to find, I thought I had one set aside that had it.
Is it something like this weird seam? Is it that weird seam?
Yes. So this is a feed sack that has been deconstructed. And Ty, if you zoom in really close by my fingers, I'm not sure they're going to be able to see this.
Yeah.
But there is a row of holes.
There
in
it
this,
is, yeah.
And see these holes? That is where the seam was that held the bag together. And somebody went through with like a seam ripper and just pulled that string out. Basically, it wasn't even a thread. It's more like a heavy-duty string that was used to hold the bag together. They would pull that out, and then suddenly you had a really large, flat piece of fabric that was set up to cut, either to make a dress or a quilt block or whatever you're going to do with it. But so that's what you would look for if you did find a flat piece of fabric that you think might have been a feed sack, is if it had these holes, which are right in between my orange fingernails there. If you can see them, I know it's hard to see.
No, that's good.
But that
was a good question I had.
It was.
Because I'm like,
we didn't even discuss that beforehand.
We didn't discuss that before. So the other thing is, Feedsack material, since it held such heavy thing, is it a thicker material than what you would have bought, like when a lady was making, and would you sew it with the same type needles and type? How would that work? Because we're not talking sewing machines, so you're talking needle and
well, there were sewing machines, but
back then there were
but no, you would sew it just as any other.
So it's not like it's a heavier.
But most of the nice quality Feedsacks were a nice soft cotton. They're not like the burlap like you would look like you were originally
what I
thinking
thought
of.
It was. Yeah,
they're nice soft pieces of fabric that wash up well. You can wash them, and they still hold their dye, their color, which is a whole other episode I could do on dyes, fabric dyes. So just real quick, I mean. The United States has an interesting history on dye, and most of you may not know, although I might have mentioned it on another episode, but like World War I, when we won World War I, one of the things that we asked for in the armistice agreement or whatever it was called is that we wanted Germany's dye recipe. Because Germany had really awesome textile factories that had really good dye. And their dye held, and the United States did not have good dye. And it was a really big deal, and they requested, and Germany didn't want to turn it over, but they did.
Is that why? Because with these being so old, you and I just had a conversation about how bright. I mean, this looks like you just bought
these. These are in really good shape. I would say these are probably from the 1930s. And I've acquired them over antique shops and things like that. But also, I had somebody that basically said, hey, my grandma died and she has a lot of fabric that no one in the family wants. Do you want it? And I always say I'll take a look at it. I've had a lot of people offer me fabric, and a lot of times it is not any good, simply because it's from like the 1980s, the 1970s, where fabric quality was really low. And a lot of people don't like to throw things away, but I will tell you, sometimes it's okay to throw things away. And there's some fabric that should be thrown away because it's not strong enough to make anything out of it. It's rotten and it would not hold. But somebody gave me a tub to look through, and it was some of these Feedsacks came from that tub, and I was amazed. And of course, no one in the family, it didn't mean anything to them. They didn't want it.
Yeah.
So
I would love to see some of the clothing that the lady made out of these.
Oh, can you imagine some of the dresses? Yeah,
it would be.
Yeah, I don't have any actual clothing made from that. But before I get into I'm going to go into the quilts in the next segment.
Yeah.
So
I do have. It's funny that we were talking about marketing, because then we had, like, of course, it's such a great marketing tool that I've got many sacks had themes such as Walt Disney characters, movie themes, Gone with the Wind, comic books, Buck Rogers, nursery rhymes like Little Bo Peep. So you're literally got like all these large corporations that are already existing. Like, wait a minute, let's jump on this Feedsack bandwagon.
Absolutely, yeah. They were smart about it too, and they're like, hey, if we put a cartoon character on there, someone will buy this to make their kid a dress.
And I'm going to tell you what,
shirt.
I bet if you could ever get your hand, I bet that would be like, can you imagine finding a Feedsack with Gone the Wind on it?
Oh, yeah.
Or with Walt Disney.
I'd have to look that up in my book. Oh, did I mention? So I did look up the Feedsack that we talked about right before the last commercial break.
Yeah.
The one about the mash, the chicken mash, fryer mash. It's worth $45.
Yeah, you did mention that a minute ago.
Oh, okay.
Perfect. Well, we're going to take another. We're going to take another commercial break here and come back because I am dying to know what's happening with this quilt.
Okay.
We'll be right back.
Do you bowl like this? That's great. Do you bowl like this? That's great too. That's because whether you're a pro or you just want to have a lot of fun, at Peggle's Silver Dollar Lanes, we have a lane for you. We have galaxy bowling, gaming for kids and adults, Joe's Pizza, a full bar, darts, pool, and fresh and clean bowling shoes. Boy, does that smell nice. So come on down to Peggle Silver Dollar Lanes in Effingham, where we have a lane for you.
My name is Robin Stanford. I own Stanford Marketing. It's a promotional products business along with an embroidery business. And we do custom hats, t-shirts, anything, you name it, we can make it. People like that we do stuff in-house and we can actually make things here and that we're not contracting the work out to other places. We never say no. We always try to find a way to do it. If anybody can do it, we can do it. We are hardworking women, that is for sure. Come to Stanford Marketing in Flora for all your custom and promotional needs.
The insurance specialists have options to tailor to your needs at CSI Insurance Brokers. Experienced insurance brokers at CSI are skilled with all types of insurance plans and policies and represent many companies, including Safeco Insurance. You'll benefit from their detailed expertise, unbeatable premiums, and commitment to customer service. CSI Insurance Brokers and Safeco Insurance Company, providing affordable rates on quality insurance since 1952.
For over 50 years, at your locally owned and operated Roll King Supply in Salem and Olney, we've helped you and your neighbors enjoy an easy country lifestyle. We carry the most thorough sporting goods department around with a huge variety of hunting and fishing gear, camping equipment, and a variety of firearms for any need. Our team is here to help you find whatever you need. Open every day, it's Roll King in Salem and Olney, your locally owned farm and home store.
And welcome back to By the Way with Beth and Stacey. We are discussing Feedsacks.
I am learning a lot today. I am excited about this.
Yeah, fabric is fun once you get into it.
Well, no, let's not.
Fabric is fun, Stacey.
I love fabric that's already been made into something.
Yeah.
You're never my eyesight and my big old meaty claws are not. Did I ever tell you, Beth, whenever I was in school and like in the 8th grade and the girls would either take like a sewing.
Oh no.
Or the boys.
What did you make?
I made a wraparound skirt because you didn't hardly have to
sew anything. Hey, wraparound skirts are cute.
So I'm like, I'm going to do this. Yeah, you would have failed me, but my teacher loved me, so I got an A.
I don't like to hand sew though. I mean, I can, but I do not enjoy it. So I wouldn't have liked that either. I'm all about the sewing machine.
We didn't have. Yeah, I don't even know. Like I said, I made what can I make to pass this class that I literally don't have to do anything to?
And a lot of times,
and a wraparound skirt was it.
Yeah, I don't blame you. A lot of times when people hear sewing machines, they think of like the $99 sewing machine at Walmart, which is fine. That's a lot of people use those. That's fine, but it's like any tool. Like, you can spend as much as you want, but when you spend even a little bit more and you go up to the next level of sewing machine,
makes a difference.
It makes a huge difference, and it doesn't come unthreaded all the time. It doesn't knot up. You don't have tension issues, and you just enjoy sewing so much more. So,
my mother's.
I've
got my mom's sewing machine. And when we were younger, my mom did sew clothes, and everything was handed down. I was the third daughter, so. But I remember my mom buying fabric because that's just what you did.
Right.
That she did, and then fabric got really expensive, and then clothes got really cheap.
Yes.
So that's where China stepped in. Okay, next thing.
So one of the main things that people did with their Feedsacks is make quilts. And back then, quilts were very utilitarian. So yes, there was an occasional quilt that was made that was just for a wedding or for your best or whatever, but most of the time quilts were utilitarian, and they used scraps left over from their clothing. So if they did make a dress with a Feedsack, whatever was left from it, they would throw into a scrap quilt. This quilt in front of me is an example of a scrap quilt. Not every fabric in this quilt is from a Feedsack. Some of them are not, but the ones that are not are from
look at that
clothing that they had. So I'm going to point right here, and I don't know if Ty, can you zoom in on my finger, because this is a very good example of a Feedsack. This has the
there's the
holes. There's the holes. They used every square inch that they could from that Feedsack, and there's the holes that were right along the seam where the string was. So some of these are flannel. This is a flannel, obviously not a Feedsack, but probably something that was left over from Dad's shirt or something like that. So there's shirtings in here, but there's also Feedsacks, and like this block right here. If you zoom in a little bit better on my finger there, Ty, you can see that this triangle here was supposed to be all blue. She didn't. She ran out of whatever. I think this was also a Feedsack. Whatever this was, she didn't have enough of it, so she just sewed in a little white piece there.
Boy, I'll tell you what.
To make it work, to make that fit. And there's also holes right here in this
That's
piece.
a Feedsack.
So that is a Feedsack there. But this quilt top is something that I found at an antique shop, and I bought it. It hasn't been quilted. This is only the top. Apparently somebody made this, either decided not to quilt it or ran out of time. They passed away. It got handed down. I picked it up at a quilt shop, and I do intend to quilt it. That's a whole other debate. You can put that down now, Stace. Thanks. Some people, want to preserve these old quilt tops and leave it as is. They say it takes away the value of it if you machine quilt it, because this is all hand pieced.
So this one is hand pieced.
Oh yeah, but I personally disagree with that. I don't really care about the value of it as much as it just being. I feel like the quilting helps hold it together better and makes it actually useful. I'll display it in my house somewhere, and occasionally we throw it on a bed. I mean, I believe that whoever made this would want it to be used. They would not want it in a tub in the back of your closet.
Are you kidding? If a lady took a little tiny slip to fill that in, they want this used.
I think so too. So, and another example is the quilt behind us also has some Feedsack fabrics in it. This quilt, I'm actually hoping to have it appraised soon. But
I love that quilt.
Yeah, it is got little tiny. Do you think it is? What? I think they're both from the 1930s. Both of these. So, and 1930s Feedsacks were at their prime, really. So, yeah.
Well, I've got in my notes in 1942, an estimated 3 million women and children were wearing some type of printed Feedsack garment. In 1942, 3 million. Over 3 million women were wearing Feedsack material.
I believe it. And honestly,
why wouldn't you?
When you feel these fabrics, they're really nice. They're almost like a percale sheet kind of feel. Some of them are a little coarser than others, but I'm a texture person, and I would have been okay with it. Honestly, this shirt I'm wearing almost could have passed for a Feedsack, and it's really soft. It's a similar feel of cotton.
Yeah. It is. Yeah, I mean, it's definitely, once we started looking into this, it's definitely not what I thought it was. Just that I'm like, why would anybody that would have to? I just thought it was that muslin.
During this time, so the fabric manufacturers maybe weren't selling as much by the bolt because people were buying their flour and sugar. So they decided to kind of follow suit, and they started making prints very similar to the ones that were on the Feedsacks. That way, if you were making a dress and it was a blue dress, but you didn't have enough Feedsacks, you could go buy a little bit of yardage to go with it that matched. So there were, at the same time, fabrics available that matched the Feedsack. So is it possible some of these in my sack or in my pile here are not really Feedsacks? There's a few of them that I'm questioning whether it was cut, because some of these are just cut pieces.
Yeah.
They're not really they're not really the whole sack.
Yeah.
So it's possible. I don't think this is, this one I do think is a Feedsack. But there's a few in my pile that I'm like, it could have been a yardage that somebody cut to match.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter to me. They're all
beautiful. Doesn't matter. They're all pretty.
And then I have the dilemma of what am I going to do with them? Am I going to cut them up and make a quilt with them? Or am I going to keep them as is?
Well, I thought you were going to make me a pillow out of that one that I like.
A pillowcase?
Yeah, I think that's the cutest little fabric. Orange and yellow are my favorite colors. So.
I could totally do that.
What a great... Yeah, it's just so interesting. I had no idea.
Yeah, so that's a very brief history on Feedsacks. I mean, there's books out there. You could read more into it as much as you want. Yeah, but definitely something. If you're interested in them, you can always find them. Not always, but if you're lucky, you can find them at auctions and antique stores.
When I was at an auction one time, I bought a trunk. And inside this trunk was just this type of thing.
Oh, really?
And I've got it all. There's probably Feedsack in there. And I did take some of it was beautiful. So I took it to a lady and she made, what's the quilts that I love that's like, it's not perfect. It's kind of like got the little, like where you can see underneath it, like it's all roughly and stuff where like they sew things together. What's that called?
I don't know.
I have no idea what I'm trying to tell you, but anyway,
Yeah.
I've got a big old quilt made out of that, and it's beautiful because I'll show it to you because she actually
like a crazy quilt or something.
Yeah, but I can't remember what it was called. She called it something because I don't like it. It doesn't have to be perfect. Just here's all this material, and she made me a king size quilt.
Oh wow!
And it is spectacular. It is heavy. I bet heavy, and I do love it. I'll pull it. I got to figure out what I've done with it because now I love it so much that I've put it up. But it was just, and then I also came across the jewel, which I've got in my house too. And when my father passed away, and my mom was cleaning out hers, his mother, my dad's mother's name was Iris Alethea, and Alethea Hemphill, and she was a quilter, and I got a quilt top.
Oh wow!
That my grandma had pieced together by hand.
That's cool.
But then didn't do the backing. Didn't get around to it, whatever. So I took it to a lady and had her put it back on it because I wanted to use it.
Oh right,
it's beautiful. Yeah, I've got
your great grandma or grandma or whatever.
Yeah,
that would
actually be my grandma.
Yeah, she would wanted you to do that.
Iris was a sewer too.
Yeah,
so. It was really neat. And then I came across it. I'm like, what do I do with all this fabric? And and it's just pieces like this, and it was a huge trunk. I either bought a trunk or I bought a big old. I went through a suitcase phase there for a while.
Right,
I was buying those because you never know what you're going to find in them.
No, you do not.
No, you don't. So yeah, that's great. What a fun show.
That is a fun show. So it doesn't. Some of our shows aren't always about Clay County, but the thing about this topic was this was happening in Clay County. The mills here in Clay County had these feed sacks. This was nationwide. So you can think about your grandmas and great grandmas and making dresses for their kids out of these and piecing quilts.
Well, every time I pull that one out,
Yep.
I've got a Marilyn Sledge when Mac was born. Marilyn Sledge had we didn't know I was going to have a boy, and and it's got like little, I don't know, it's really cute too. I've got it upstairs. Most of my quilts are upstairs because I had to protect them from my kids and my grandchildren.
Oh.
So they're all upstairs where nobody goes, but it's a really neat. Marilyn had it made by somebody when I was pregnant with Mac. Really cool. I don't know. I love quilts.
Yeah, I love quilts too.
I don't know anything about, but I do like to. And sometimes when you go to auction, you can get a good deal on them. Sometimes they are outrageous. But it just depends on the. Oh goodness!
Depends on whether or not I'm there, right?
It does. Yeah. Well, yeah. Because last time I bought a quilt, I did buy. Last time we were at auction together. Yeah, there's an auction this Saturday. I think Carson's having an auction.
I know. I was going to tell you about that later.
Yeah, there's an auction Saturday. There's something I want for my rental.
Okay.
But I don't know if I can pull off. You're talking cemetery tour Friday night. I got to go to the shop for a little bit. I don't know if I'm not one of them. I can't go to an auction, and if I see something, I'm going to be there till the last dog dies.
Yeah.
But then I'm going to have to leave early to go.
Maybe you could put a little bug in Carson's ear to get to that one a little earlier in the day.
I will put a little bug in Brina Blanchard's ear because she works for him on those days.
There you go.
And then
this item needs to be auctioned off specifically between the hours of 12 and 1 p.m. Thank you very much.
Or what I'll do is say, Brina, here's my price. If you can get it, and she'll get it for me.
Oh, that would be good too.
Yeah. So
I didn't see any quilts in that listing though. So
I didn't see any, but I want auctions back. I don't want online auctions.
I know.
I don't like online auctions.
An auction.
I'm just here to say, I think that if you're doing online auctions, and I know it's a lot less work, but if you're doing online auctions, I believe you are losing money. You're not getting as much on an online auction.
Yeah, because
if you got two people battling it out.
I never shop online auctions.
I don't like them either because I'll forget to go back.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Okay. What's our quote for the day? We always end with a quote or a rule to live by. What do you got for us?
Oh, boy. Are you an optimist or a pessimist?
I'm optimistic.
I think I am, too. The optimist sees the rose and not its thorns. The pessimist stares at the thorns, obviously oblivious of the rose. Let me read that again. The optimist sees the rose and not its thorns. The pessimist stares at the thorns, oblivious of the rose. I'm a total Jim. I think I'm more of an optimist. Jim is more of the pessimist type because we'll do something. Oh, that's terrible. I'm like, no, it's going to be just fine. It's going to look good.
It'll be fine.
We're refinishing those floors in my rental that we bought next door. He was stripping them. I'm like, man, these floors look amazing. I'm like, oh, they look fine. They're going to be just like, So I saw the rose.
Yeah, he just saw the thorns.
Jim, yeah, I like that quote. That's a good quote.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah. I'm going to put a little star by
that one.
And that was by Khalil Gibran. No. Some of these people never heard of it, but yeah. The optimist sees the rose, not the thorns. Pessimist sees the thorns. Yeah.
That's a good one.
I do like that one. That's an awesome one.
Yeah. So anyway,
Fun show.
Our show is already over for today. So
I know.
Real quick, if you don't know where to find us, if you're watching us on Wabash, we're always on at 11 a.m. Monday through Friday, channel 100, Wabash Catch TV. But if you want to catch our past episodes, or you're not in the Wabash viewing area, we're on YouTube, By the Way with Beth and Stacey. You can reach out to us at our Gmail, By the Way with Beth and Stacey at gmail.com, or you can follow us on Facebook at By the Way with Beth and Stacey. So anyway, thank you so much for joining us, and we will see you next time.
God bless you. Have a great day.